welcome here to MoreTalkFCB, and welcome to what is a very, very interesting video today, because just last night, Mino Raiola, the infamous super agent, appeared live there on Dutch TV, and some of the quotes are very, very relevant to us Barcelona fans, as Barça truly was a much-discussed topic right throughout Raiola's interview. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about Raiola's words on Erling Haaland, on Matthijs de Ligt, and their chances of joining Barça. There's also some words as well on Barça target Noussair Mazraoui. It is all coming up, along with a very, very important question that I'm going to put to you guys at the end. So let's get into it. Because speaking there of Mino Raiola, I do believe that whenever he talks publicly like this, especially in such a big way as he did last night, it is important to listen to exactly what he does have to say. I know that in football he's a very controversial figure, and certainly when it comes to the elite clubs, I've spoken about this before, Raiola is not exactly well liked. He's not exactly a friend of those clubs, which means that if you can get on his good side, if you do maintain that good relationship for him, you are very much in the minority when it comes to those big clubs. And that is why the relationship between Mino Raiola and Joan Laporta, which Raiola did touch upon today, it's important, and it is very, very relevant when you're looking at possible deals that could happen. And of course, let's not forget, Raiola, he holds huge influence over his clients. The players that he represents, they love him. They absolutely trust him with their entire career. They will put it in his hands, and that is why, again, what he says, it holds weight. And if we first of all just discuss Noussair Mazraoui, the 24-year-old right-back there currently playing his football at Ajax, and this very much is a Barcelona target, because at the end of the season, providing there he does not extend at Ajax, he is going to be available on a free transfer this summer. Ajax right now are desperately trying to keep him. They want him to remain at the club, but there is a difference there between the two parties, and as the days go on, it's looking more and more unlikely that he will stay at Ajax beyond the summer. Raiola said when he was asked there about whether Mazraoui could still extend at Ajax, he said it's not ruled out. He said, I don't want to say that it's not possible, but he said, honestly, it is difficult. He said, why? Because there are differences in the opinion between the clubs, the representatives, about the status of the player, and for that reason, I see it as difficult. So Mazraoui certainly remains on Barca's radar, and that is a deal that we still could see happen. Then, of course, we do have to discuss the one and only Erling Haaland, because obviously we discussed this in great detail recently after that meeting in Turin between Joan Laporta and Mino Raiola. That has only seen the rumours linking him with Barça really intensify. But as we've spoken about as well very recently about how much it's going to cost to sign Erling Haaland this summer, from the 75 million release clause to the big wages to the big fee that's going to go the way of Mino Raiola, the big question has always been, is it even possible for Barca as a club in our current situation to enter into these negotiations? And I thought Raiola's response, it was very interesting, because when Raiola there was asked, it's going to be complicated for Barca, isn't it? He was told there that basically Barca are going to struggle with this Haaland deal. Is that correct? Raiola responded. He said, listen, talking there about the meeting between himself and Joan Laporta, he said, do you really think that a club would talk to me if it was impossible? He said, complicated does not mean it's impossible, which again tells us certainly that Haaland, it is going to be expensive. It is going to be a big deal, but to rule Barca out, that would be very, very untrue. And Raiola went on to say, again, specifically talking about Barcelona, he said Barcelona will always remain one of the biggest clubs in the world, even despite their recent form. He said Barca have the power to create very big economic contracts. He said it will only take 1 or 2 years before they will be back again. And this is what I mean. Right the way through this interview, it was mainly about FC Barcelona, Raiola being asked time and time again and openly bringing us into the conversation. And he was also asked there if maybe it wasn't quite possible this summer for Barca to go out and pay the money for Erling Haaland. Is it possible that he could wait for Barca? Could maybe he wait 1 more year if need be? And again, the answer was an interesting one. Raiola said Haaland can wait for anyone. We have no pre-agreement with any club. We will look for the best option, and I have never ruled out spending another year in Dortmund. Theoretically, it is still possible that he could stay. So Raiola, they're saying that basically this summer we'll assess things, we will see what offers come in, what Erling wants to do, but it's not ruled out that he could stay one more year at Dortmund and then have even more of those options available one summer on. And I do think right now we're hearing those inside of Dortmund, the CEO, talking about the interest coming in from Real Madrid. We've often heard Erling Haaland's father in the past talk about the fact that he'd maybe be more suited and more favour a move to La Liga. And I just think right now it does seem as though we're heading towards a Barça versus Real situation regarding Haaland. Does he want to go and play with Mbappe? Does he want to join forces with Mbappe at Real Madrid, which of course would be an unbelievably fearsome attack? Or does he want to go the Barca route? Does he want to lead us and be the main man at the start of a brand new era? Those are some of the decisions that he is going to have to make. And this summer, it's going to be interesting. However, we are far from done here because we are going to talk now about Matthijs de Ligt. And this is a very interesting situation that's recently come back to life again. We all remember, of course, back in 2019 when de Ligt there was leaving Ajax when he had Barca's offer on the table to go there. But he chose instead. And Raiola, of course, was the man who helped take him to Turin to sign for Juventus in a deal there that was worth 75 million euros. And I do often wonder that had Laporta been in charge then instead of Bartomeu, who had no relationship whatsoever, in fact quite a bad one, with Raiola, would things have turned out differently? But I think we always knew that just a few years down the line, this question was going to pop back up again. It was going to resurface. And again here today, we have been linked with de Ligt. Because even earlier in the day on Sunday, before the show had even begun, Raiola had already been quoted as saying that de Ligt is now ready for a new step. He was talking there about his personal opinion, that he felt like now was the right time for de Ligt to move on in his career. And he did say there too that he thinks so as well. And that's what I mean there by the influence that Raiola has. He will often give his own personal opinion. He will always have his own preference about where his player goes. And often they trust him with that judgment. They trust him, like I say, with their careers. He said it's going to be a process of meetings, especially with players who have the brain like Matthijs de Ligt. We will discuss at which club he feels good and where he wants to continue his career. So Raiola there openly admitting that, you know what, his next path, it's away from Juve. We are ready now to move on. It's going to happen. And it was very fascinating again, because when talking there about who could sign him, he said, I think we all know which clubs to mention here. For some reason, he lashed out at Fortuna Dusseldorf. He said, not them. I don't know why he attacked them for no reason. But he said, we will see in the summer Premier League clubs. He also said, it could be Barca too. It could be Real Madrid. It could be PSG, which makes things very, very interesting indeed. De Ligt, of course, 22 years old. He's more experienced in his career. And I think although his time at Juve would probably be classed there as a bit mixed, I'm sure that he's a lot better off for the experience he's gained there in Italy, especially over the past 3 seasons as a defender out there. I'm sure he's learned a lot from that time. But of course, the big question would be, how much would it cost? According to Fabrizio Romano, De Ligt's release clause at Juventus will become active this summer, but that's going to be an eye-watering 150 million. That is a huge, huge sum that honestly nobody's going to pay. That's double the price of Erling Haaland's release clause. And especially given that he has a contract at Juve until 2024, there's no real pressure to sell him. So he wouldn't come cheap by way of transfer, even without that clause. And of course as well, he would command big wages. And the big question that I have for you guys today is this. If you could sign one player this summer, if you could go out and spend big money on a position there that would revolutionise our team, would you spend big on Erling Haaland? Or would you spend big at the other end of the field on Matthijs de Ligt? That is the question that I pose here today. For me personally, I look at Haaland, I look at de Ligt. They are 2 phenomenal talents. I do believe that you could get them maybe this summer for around a similar amount of money, with all things considered. But I just think Haaland, he's the difference maker. As much as we do have problems defensively, would de Ligt come in and transform it on his own? Would it just be him needed to really make our defence solid again? I'm not sure he could do that alone. But when I look at Haaland, could he transform our attack, transform our team with the goals that he can provide? I'd have to say yes. His impact for me would be a lot greater than de Ligt, even though of course we do need defenders. That's why It's an interesting question. So please, guys, do leave all of those thoughts down below, especially on that question there about Haaland or about De Ligt. And of course, what do you make of Raiola's words on Mazraoui and the futures of these two megastars right here? Let me know all that down below. Those were some very, very interesting words for me. But what do you make of them? I will see you soon, of course, with more videos to come, because these rumours, you just know it, they're going to continue. Thank you indeed, guys, for watching today. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.